How's it going, everybody? I've got some more Magic today for you with a little bit of the Midweek Magic Brawl Builder Challenge. This Midweek Magic came out yesterday, but I wanted to go ahead and get a video up of it while there's still some time to play the event. I've got a Goben Brawl build here. So what I did is, for these Brawl Builder Challenges, you have to build a Brawl deck, and it is still essentially a historic Brawl deck, so you do get to include cards that are no longer standard legal, things like that. However, you do have to use a commander that is from the newest set, so I chose Goben because Goben and Fleam is actually just probably one of my favorite cards from this set. Goben itself is a 2-drop 1/1 that has the ability to not be blocked whenever it attacks, and then you get to draw and discard. If you discard something that isn't a land card, it gives it a 1/1 counter. So that on its own is very strong. So what I did for this, and I apologize for not showing you the whole deck breakdown, but for Brawl, a 100-card deck is just not easy to look at. I'll still have the deck down in the description, a link to Mox Field, you'll have the ability to check it out there. But I'm just going to talk about it very briefly here before getting into matches. What I did with this deck is I combined the Mayhem mechanic with Heist. And the reason that I did that is because there's good new cards from this most recent set, like Reality Fulcrum and Wrench, the Speedway Saboteur, I think is what it's called, that synergize really, really well with stealing your opponent's cards and goes really well with Heist. Heist being the mostly alchemy-themed mechanic that came out a little while back, quite a while back at this point, actually. But Heist was primarily synergized with the same Grixis colors that Goben is. So you can make use of all of those Heist cards that are popular. I didn't play them a lot with like the later versions of them that started coming out and stuff, but I do have a lot of the original Heist cards that came out, which are really fun to use. So I wanted to include them in this deck as well, and it works really well together, actually, because the Reality Fulcrum itself has the ability to be used for 2 mana of any color for any exiled cards, so heisted cards, stolen cards are always exiled cards, you can make use of them that way, and they just synergize really well because it is in the same color combination. And then Mayhem's really nice too. If we're playing into that draw discard ability with Goben, we can obviously use our own Mayhem cards, get things back, or you could flip to Fleam and anything you discard gets Mayhem, meaning we can get them back that way as well and play them on the same turn, which is really nice. Anyway, I've already played with the deck more than just the 3 wins here. I've actually played it for most of my wins yesterday just because I don't play a lot of Brawl, and these Brawl Builder Challenges are a really nice way to play historic Brawl without having to go up against the absolute absurdity of most of those types of decks. You get to actually have a little bit of fun with it, so I do like these Brawl Builder Challenges for Midweek Magic. So I wanted to show an interesting build here. I'm going to go ahead and get into games. I'm just going to go for 3 wins because that's what the event called for to begin with too, just to showcase the deck and try and give you guys a good idea of how it works. And then, like I said, in the description, there's a Mox Field link where you can see the full deck or export it to your own arena if you want to work around with that. But hopefully you guys enjoy this. This deck turned out to be a lot of fun for me. Alright, so we do get to go first, which is nice. We've got pretty acceptable looking land options here. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. And then whether we get Goben down early or not, we have a little bit we can go with here. So yeah, I'll go ahead and keep this. Going first is really a big factor to that, in my opinion. I think I'm actually going to go with the Restless Spire here. Either any of these tapped lands would have worked here because we don't have a 1-drop play, so I'm not terribly bothered. I think next I'm going to go into Swamp and try getting Goben going. Okay, not too much there. Let's go ahead and get the Blazemire Verge down. I think I'm actually going to go about this a few different ways. Let's try going with Goben first. Drew a card. Let's get rid of Kivney. And then I'm going to play Kivney. I think getting rid of the land here, because we're going to get more land, hopefully. And I'm going to hold back my fear of missing out for now, I think. Kivney has really good evasion, having Menace as well, which is really nice. And then obviously Goben is indestructible, so we don't, or not indestructible, unblockable, so we don't have to worry about any kind of blockers on him either, which is really nice. Okay, so he's dealing damage to something. Personally, I'd probably get rid of Goben, but if he doesn't get rid of Kivney, it's going to be a big annoying threat. Okay, Goben is gone. Now it costs 4 mana for us to bring it back out, which is unfortunate. Got a Haunted Ridge, which is nice. So I think I'm actually going to start off with the Chandra Spark Hunter here, and let's create the artifact so that it can attack with Kivney. I think that's a pretty strong, aggressive start there that I'm happy with. So the crew cost on these is going to be 1. I think what I want to do here is to go with Goben. We're going to create another artifact. Then we're going to crew using Goben on our already existing. That way we can use Chandra to animate the new one. That way it doesn't have summoning sickness, that sort of stuff. Pretty good attack there. Our opponent's looking really weak. Now we do have some fun stuff here between Thieving Aven and Cruel Cause Heist. We can actually start getting into the Heist mechanic a little bit here too. Okay, got some 1/1 counters on our opposing creature here. And our opponent now has blockers, which is fine. So I could go about trying to get rid of the whole board, but I've got a couple of really good options here, I think. So let's start with Inti. Inti's going to be really strong. What do I want to do here? Could create another vehicle. And I think I will.
My team's got me covered.
Okay. Now let's go ahead and get rid of the biggest creature. And then we'll crew here. And crew here. Go to attack step, animating the last one. Attack. I'm going to discard the fear of missing out, I think, so that I can grow Goben. Yeah, so really, really strong start there. We went extremely aggressively. I didn't get to get into the heist stuff yet because we were just had such a good lead going here. Crewed Kivney for one of these because these are more expendable. He would have to block one of these. Kivney could be double blocked and gotten rid of, but he'd lose his board. This way, he gets to block potentially 2 things, but he's going to lose his Galligrators. He's going to lose the Beast Whisperer. Goben's going to be attacking for 2 because we're using Inti to actually grow that. And potentially getting a land off the top with Inti would have been really nice too. And then for subsequent turns, we had a really good hand here. We could use Ill-Timed Explosion to wipe the board if we wanted to, and we don't lose much from doing that because these vehicles would be down here. They wouldn't actually act as creatures. Cruel Cause Heist would allow us to hit their hand. We could either take something from their hand for ourselves or just exile it outright. And then Thieving Aven would be able to get bigger if we cast spells that don't belong to us, and if it deals combat damage, it would heist more cards from our creature. So a really good start from that too. I wanted to get these going, but we had such a strong aggressive opening here that it just made more sense to go this route. Yeah, it was really good. Chandra was really good getting out this early. It wasn't threatened at all by anything our opponent had because they were on the back foot so hard. Anyway, good game 1. Let's go ahead and get into a game 2. Alright, unfortunately our opponent does go first. We've got some pretty good looking land here, though. Multiversal Passage, probably a really good start, considering it will we can have it enter tapped this way. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this. I think I'm going to have the Multiversal Passage enter as black. Yeah. So we're going to go black enters tapped. The real question is, do we go ahead and go with Goben here on turn 2, or do we hold out and start with Ironcrag to try and get us some openings going? We do have Bowmaster, which could be really nice if we believe they're going to be drawing extra cards. Nightclub could be nice. It gives us a land. I think I have to go Goben here, so that we can potentially get this land out as a discarded option and work from there. I like Ironcrag. Ramping up was another option. Could have maybe gotten Chandra out earlier, but let's just see what we can do here with this. Okay, gets rid of our Goben, which is too bad. Doesn't significantly change where I'm going with things. Go ahead and get that land out. We could have played Fear of Missing Out and gotten it in that way. I'm curious whether our opponent's going to be drawing a lot of cards or not. I think I just want to go ahead and ramp here since it's going to be necessary. Because I'd like to get the Orcish Bowmaster down, and it could even kill their commander for us, but he has to draw an additional card for that to be the case.
Just another puzzle to solve. Let thoughts flow like river rapids.
Okay, I think here we want to go ahead and get Chandra down. It's going to take some damage, but we need to get some damage on their Planeswalker.
If this is the competition, rev them up!
And this is going to be our way to get rid of it on this turn.
Even masters make mistakes.
Up to 5 mana here, meaning we have 6 if we, include the one that we can play. A little bit of damage on our Chandra, but nothing too bad there. They do get another turn, so Chandra is going to get taken out. That's too bad. We do get to keep the token, though, the vehicle token, which is pretty nice, so we do have options if we can get a creature down. I think I want to go Fear of Missing Out into Ruzik here. We've got really good options, actually, but I still think that's probably the best go here. Because we can discard Ruzik to Fear of Missing Out and then still play it. Not going to be doing that because we want to keep our stuff as long as possible. Want to keep the extra mana ramp, it's going to be more helpful here. Now, we can potentially get Goben out as Fleam instead on our next turn. That might actually be worthwhile, because this doesn't seem like it's going to be much of a Goben match since it's already been sent back to the command zone at this point. So maybe it's better trying to work off of all of our things having Mayhem. Returning all of our stuff, that's unfortunate. Okay, I think in this case, because of how that went, we've got to go ahead and try and get Ruzik back down. If he counters things, then that's just unfortunate. There's not a lot we could do about it. But we do at least have the mana to get both back down this turn, which is nice. We do still have the potential to get Fleam down on the next turn, maybe? Our opponent's definitely playing more of a conventional blue deck. I have blue, but I'm playing more of like a Rakdos deck with Splash Blue. But they're playing a lot of things like Time Walks, counter spells, stuff like that that I'm not utilizing. I do think getting the Bowmaster down is going to be pretty nice if we can here. Because as I assumed, they do have a lot of card draw, and it'll add up over time if I can get it down in the long term. Send that back to my hand. Quite unfortunate. No good attacks on our opponent's side, at least, still. Ruzik would be fun to play with, but it's not essential either, so I don't mind not having it. If they transform their commander, I think it can get in over fear of missing out. Portal to Phyrexia is pretty painful here. Okay. I need to get down Bowmaster. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and this is a 9-drop. So even if I send that back, he can replay it. What do we go with here? Getting this down is going to be moderately helpful. I don't have anything I desperately want to discard. So I think maybe just getting this down as a temporary blocker for now might be worthwhile. Bowmaster is going to be really essential to most of what we're doing here. Because this opponent is going to want to draw cards frequently. We can discard Ruzik here, and that's not too bad. No blockers from our opponent is helpful. Let's go ahead and get Ruzik down. Decline there. We can get back our own creature. I think making them recast this is going to be better for us, though. And then we don't have a lot left. I actually think I want to go right here to steal from them. There's not a lot of creatures in the graveyard for them to capitalize on, which is what I'm really banking on right now. Let's go ahead and get our attacks. We can just attack with everything. Now, the negative, I guess you could say, of Decadent Dragon is we do have to have the mana colors to play the cards we steal with it. Transformed Mia. Did get rid of their Storm enchantment, so they have to replay that. That's going to take up some time. Now, if he's smart, he'll target Fear of Missing Out. Okay, so the person actually knows how the card works. That's pretty impressive. Get a little bit of ping damage with Crash there. We do take some more damage here, which is unfortunate. So we've got to kind of just discard everything here, and I'm fine with that, honestly. Make it to where Nia can't block. Play the land. I want Fleam. And now we could go with about anything. I think Emmett's really good. What's the equip cost on this? Can't even see. 3. We don't have 3, so I'm going to decline that. I don't even want to discard any of these here, but I guess I kind of have to, huh? Alright, we'll get rid of him. Becomes replayable. Gotta discard the last card there, unfortunately. I'm just taking the most expensive thing because they can do it, and we don't want that. Now the opponent's low, so we have some answers, or some options here at the very least. Creative Outburst, deal 5 damage to any target, so that's going to be pretty helpful for us. We have a lot of mana and can do this as well. I'm not as familiar with the card off the top of my head, at least, but we're definitely just going straight for the face with these, because it means that we have the potential to possibly even kill them if they keep going. All we really need is for them to mess up and draw, and then we win. Hacking there for 5. I think I've got to let it through. Okay, and then we do win. That was a tough match, but I will say, to our benefit, they only are on 1 life. We've got Menace on Fleam right now. So Flying and Menace there. Our board's pretty aggressive. The Orcish Bowmaster I knew was going to be really good, and the only reason they're at 1 right now is because the repeated pings. And if anything had died, then I think this deals 1 damage, right? Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, so it has to be one of theirs. But if anything of theirs had died, they would have been pinged for that 1 less damage too. So yeah, overall this was a pretty good match. It was very close. We were running out of time here, but it was a race that we just barely won. I think bouncing this, I don't know how relevant it was. It just seemed like the most expensive thing that I could make them have to replay. If I had bounced the Portal to Phyrexia, it would have taken out our creatures again, which wouldn't have been ideal. And Creative Outburst, I don't know that taking this was the right option. I didn't look very excessively, but this was a really expensive card, and I figured I didn't want them to draw it. I do see now that, yeah, see, this wouldn't have been a draw card, and they could have used it to kill the Bowmaster or something else that we had potentially as a blocker or something. So overall, I felt that it was necessary to take something this big out of their path so they couldn't utilize it. I don't know what this does either entirely off the top of my head, because I'm not super familiar with this card either. I didn't get to choose with taking it, but we did have the downside of needing the blue to play it. We have it in this. We actually managed to have a lot of colors in this thanks to Goben and Fleam, but yeah, it was just too much of a mana investment for us to go with, I think. On this next turn, we would have really been able to utilize our Impetuous Lootmonger, so anything that isn't ours that we play would have generated a treasure token for us, and just the ability to make it to where something of theirs couldn't block pretty much guaranteed that we were going to get through with as many attackers as we have available. Could even transform Emmett, I think. I don't know, what are the conditions for that? Echo the Lost during your turn. You may play cards from your graveyard if a card or token would be put into the... So, I don't know about the transform. I don't think we would have been able to, because we don't have enough things in the graveyard. But if we could transform it, that ability synergizes so nicely with Flame too, because it discounts everything that would be in our graveyard. Anyway, good game 2. Let's see if we can get a game 3 going. Okay, we've got pretty okay land here. It'd be nice to have a black, especially with all these black cards, so I think we're going to have to do much better. Okay, so let's go ahead and get one of our tap lands down, obviously. I think let's go with Malice first, I suppose. Island's nice because it means we could go ahead and get Goben down. I really love Croxa. It's really nice too, but it is better once your opponent already has some has fewer cards in hand, I guess is the best way to put that. Let's go ahead and get Goben going. Probably going to be going with a tap land here. A Honeycorn from the opponent. Interesting. Yeah. Tap land. We'll go ahead and get down our other unblockable creature. Attack in. And then see what we get here. Avon's actually really nice. I think I'm going to get rid of Luis in this situation, though the life gain might be relevant later. We don't care about the bunny corn right now. Ooh, that's really nice. In that case, let's go here and go Reality Fulcrum. See if we get something else we can play. Collector's Vault for free isn't the worst. Let's go ahead and attack him with our unblockable creatures. I think Jace is what I want to get rid of here because it's not going to be doing anything for us. If we're going to use Ill-Timed Explosion, we need to do it like now. And it might be the right time to do it as well, since they just killed Goben. Because we could wipe out their board pretty easily. Okay. I'm still pretty fine with this. I think the only thing that would be bad is if they were to... no, nothing's really bothersome there. So let's go ahead and attack first. We're going to go ahead with Ill-Timed Explosion. I'm going to get rid of Shieldred so that I can wipe their board. We have to discard 2. Takanuma's fine, because I'd rather play the Temple. Then yeah, we can go Temple here. I don't want that. And let's get a Mako down. Because we can have a lot of fun with Mako. So I think what I want to do next is probably get the Triumphant Gateway going. It's fine. He can be more expensive. Crox is really nice too, but our opponent has so many things. Okay. I'm going to start here so that we can grow our Mako. Oh man. This is actually kind of crazy. I don't know what to get rid of. I guess let's get rid of Jasper. Jasper's really good too, though. Yeah. Okay. That's crazy. We went with this to 3 available. Okay, so let's do this. And then I'm going to get the Avon down. No attacks necessary. And then we're okay here. I'm happy with what we've got. That does mean they get a flying blocker, so that's a little bit sad. In this case, I think I'm going to go ahead and do this now instead of waiting to do it at instant speed, because it does have flash, but I want to start taking some cards. think we're going to go with this, and everything here is so expensive, but the Wanderers at least got Convoke. Let's go ahead and go here, because it's essentially free. We're going to get some triggers on stuff, which is nice. I'm just going to go with gaining life here, I guess. And play this as a land. Do I want to pay 3 life? Because I just gained 3 life. Look, got 3. I will pay 3 just because it means that we could do this if we want to now. And then I want to get in with this, so now we can't even do that if we want to. I don't know why I did that. But anyway, I want to get in with it if I can, so that's obviously why. Alright, we're going to go ahead and pass here. Getting down the Wanderer is going to be something I want to do, but getting more things from the top of their library is ideal too. See what they're doing here. I'm gonna go ahead and utilize this. I don't even know what I'm gonna draw, but it's probably gonna be what I get rid of. Yeah, Burge is gone, which is gonna grow our Mako at least for us. Okay, no good blocks, unfortunately. I think we're gonna have to go. I'm okay with going here and here, I think. We do lose our Mako that way, though, which is sad. But we lost our discard outlet, too, so... what all these do? Okay, I am gonna go this. Oh, I can only do one because I don't have anything belonging to the opponent right now. Problems. I'm gonna attack in first, see what we can do. Alright, they blocked. That's unfortunate, but not unexpected. I guess I'm gonna have to go here. Now I can do this. Probably getting rid of this. I've only got 1 mana left now, though. Authority is actually pretty fantastic. Yeah, let's just go with that, because that's going to help us long term. We get to gain a little bit more life that way and grow our Aven. Okay, so that's good game 3. It was getting a little complicated, and there were some other choices we could have made there, but Authority of the Councils was pretty much going to guarantee that they weren't going to be able to kill us, and everything else we needed was just going to be stealing things. I do appreciate this match, because this let us play more heavily into the Heist synergies that I built into this deck. We got to use the Thieving Aven, the Triumphant Gateway, Reality Fulcrum, which was essential for this kind of stuff to work out. We even got like a Cruel Cause Heist, Weave of the Nightmare. So we got a lot of things here that kind of lent for us to go with the Heist mechanic that I went with here. You can see these colors from Goben are just absolutely perfect for this type of a play. So yeah, Game 1, I think, would have been probably the best case scenario showcase of why Goben is so strong in the discard draw options. This match is why he's so good of a commander for the Heist options, and why the two are a really good combination in this deck. So I really appreciate that I got this as my Game 3, because you got to see different ways of playing this deck based on the synergies that I created using it. But anyway, thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you guys like this video. I know my Midweek Magic videos don't do as well as my regular standard ones, but I do really love this Brawl Builder Challenge because it lets you play Historic Brawl in a less competitive arena. If you just queue up for Historic Brawl, you never get to have fun or try out any of these new commanders, in my opinion, so I really appreciate these and wanted you guys to have some options here too, because it's a lot of fun. But again, thank you for joining me, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this.